All right, it looks like we are live with no errors, which is kind of cool. So, welcome to the Hypnosis Hero podcast. I, of course, am Shawn Kostiuk. I am one of your hosts. We've got an exceptional guest tonight. You will, of course, pardon us if somewhere down the road the Western Canadian accent becomes primary because our guest, of course, doesn't live that far away from me, even though we've never crossed paths in the province. We first met actually 2 years ago at the Performing Hypnosis Summit, so live for the first time. So, with that in mind, I'm going to bring on my co host who has had, well, let's just say he's got some extra parts now. And I'll let him explain that, Mr. Brian Bay.
The term is aftermarket parts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got a titanium upgrade on a couple of things. So
make sure you carry those so that the TSA lets you through.
Yeah, I was gonna say going through the little wave your hands and stuff at the airport. You know, if they can pick out a single receipt piece of paper in your pocket, a lot of stuff's gonna show up. But I imagine they're probably used to these things. So yeah, we talked about I think a number of times before. Had surgery Monday last week, and that was for the spinal fusion. So I got all the had a drain in my neck and everything, but everything was really straightforward. No hiccups or anything like that. Spent the night in the hospital, and folks took care of me, and I think I was all in all, from the time I checked in to the time I went home, was probably about 26 or 28 hours, if that. So so there's it's not all bloody and disgusting or anything like that. It cleaned up, but we got all the glue and the stitches and everything. But yeah, there's about a 2-inch incision where they went in, and they only go in about so far. They don't have to go very far. Move everything out of the way and take the bad disc out, put a block in there, take out any of the bone spurs, and throw a plate on the front. So I'm kind of, robotic, moving is one, but like I still have rotation and everything in my neck. There's going to be some physical therapy and kind of a long road to go, but I did take some pain meds a little while ago, so I'm gonna do my best to hang in there as long as we can tonight.
Oh, the Canadians won't take advantage of that at all.
Yeah, so it's good to see everybody. I've been doing a lot of sleeping, so
something I think a lot of us would like to be doing more of. I tell you, March has been a month, and it's not over quite yet.
So, yeah, but no, everybody did great. Wonderful medical team, and it was really cool because you go in and you get changed into your hospital gown and everything, and put all your clothes in a bag and stuff like that. And then they come in and talk to you, do all that stuff, and then you go from there into the operating room, to then a recovery room, then to the hospital room that you're going to stay in for the night. And all I remember was hanging out in that first room. And then I woke up, started at point A, went to point B, a little time travel in between, and it couldn't run any smoother. But
well, that's that. As far as things go, when people are snipping, and my aunt was a nurse for 35 years, just about. And the only thing that she ever really said about any kind of surgery, because she was more so in the neonatal wing in the University Hospital in Saskatoon, but she said anytime there was an incision, it's a major surgery. It doesn't matter how small the incision is; they treated it as something that's major. So,
oh yeah, they wanted to go like dip the Q-tips and the orange stuff and shove them up in my nose. And then I woke up and I like had this line from, the bottom of my chin all the way, straight back with, it's all over my chest and everything. It's like all that, but what is it? The betadine, like you dumped orange dye all over me. But
there's so many things I could say.
Tariff free, right?
Well, it's what can I say? Except we won't say it because it'll be mean, and we're not mean. We're supposed to be the nice ones.
No, it was like I woke up and you start like clicking around on YouTube and Facebook and everything, and you're like, what the hell did I wake up into, all the stuff that's going on? So it's yeah, it was good. I've enjoyed the rest. Wanting definitely more of it. But in talking with everybody, it was like, yeah, you suffered a pretty major trauma, even though it was all controlled and organized. What they did, my body's definitely burning a lot of energy to try to, recover and heal up from that. But
yeah, the body adjusts, and then in adjusting, it needs to figure out what the heck is going on. So
yeah,
no question about that.
But it's good to be back, kind of getting back into the swing of things best I can. And then how about things? We were talking before we got started that you've got some weather that's coming in.
Well, apparently, I haven't seen it. It looks like there's weather coming in, but they keep pushing the forecast back and pushing it back and pushing it back. So I'm rather hoping it doesn't show up at all. But it's still March, and as the saying goes, it can come in like a lion and go out like a lamb, or it can come in like a lamb and go out like a lion. And it was kind of indifferent at the beginning of the month, so I'm thinking by the end of this month it'll be indifferent again. So.
Looking at all the weather that we've had this year,
well, I mean,
it's like the entire animal kingdom, just was hanging out with Charlie Sheen and a bunch of Colombians, and just they're just kind of like, all right, everything goes.
Well, I would say that was our friends in Michigan. They had 3 or 4 really good blizzards and tornadoes and storms and other things going on there. So,
we had the mountains out here where it's a gorgeous day. Then it's going to dump rain. Then we're going to puke snow for a little bit, and then sun, rain. Okay, there's a small avalanche. Hey, it's chest deep powder in the mountains if you can get there, and then it warms up for like 4 days, and all of a sudden, all right, the valley's underwater, more flooding coming in. I'm going, yep, I'm time for some more meds and a nap. But
yeah,
no, we've got our guest this evening. Pretty cool guy we were chatting with before we came on.
Yep, and we'll preface this by saying, we our guest and I live in the same province. We're about 4.5 hours, maybe. Depends on how fast we drive away from each other, and we haven't crossed paths yet in the province, but we did meet in Las Vegas, of all places. You meet lots of people in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
But our guest tonight is a comedy stage hypnotist who's spent over 20 years on stage performing for corporate events, fundraisers, and live audiences across Canada. His work focuses on clean, high-impact entertainment and the psychology behind why hypnosis works so well on stage. So with that in mind, welcome to the Hypnosis Hero podcast, Mr. Jesse Lewis.
Hi. It said on the description that I'm high intensity. So, are we ready, boys? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Boogly, boogly, boogly. No, just
Steve Falcon's over at a NASCAR track back east going like, what, huh? He was out at he messaged me, I think yesterday or sometime this week. He's like, yeah, I was out at Darlington over the weekend, had the time of my life, got to go see the races, and he's a huge NASCAR fan.
That's awesome.
So do you guys watch NASCAR at all up in Canada, or
I'm sure people do.
Or are you guys kind of more F1 type stuff?
In Quebec, they might be F1.
Right.
Yeah,
Shawn?
Quebec would have a Formula One race.
Yeah. It's a long way away, though.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, we could drive there in 3 days. You know,
but it's flat. It's flat out on the prairie.
Well, yeah, but it's not flat in Ontario.
Yeah, for 6 hours it'd be flat.
Yeah. The one thing that Grant would have said about being here in Canada, obviously, is he did not realize just how big of an area, and he basically, I think he went from Edmonton to Regina to Saskatoon, and a few points in between. I think he made it out to Cowessess, which is a First Nation, and a couple other places, and Yorkton once, where the Tim Hortons thoroughly did not have the
so they were like, we're out of everything.
Yeah. So, but what can you say? Just the sheer size and having to drive across the country to go see something, like a Formula One race or Taylor Swift or, the big acts don't generally stop in Saskatchewan.
No, they don't. Although every once in a while we'll get like will.i.am will play like a 200-seat theater in Saskatoon. He'll be at the Broadway and they'll be like, why is will.i.am here? It's crazy. It's strange how people come here. So, and Snoop Dogg.
You guys are pretty big on WHL hockey. You guys have the Saskatoon Blades.
Yep, Saskatoon Blades and a whole bunch of other ones. But
is Mitch Love still coaching for them?
Good question.
Because I remember when he was a player in Everett.
You tell him how far away we live from Saskatoon.
Well, you're 3 hours, aren't you, or 2.5 hours? And I'm
3.5, 3 if I do it properly and there's no semis in the way.
Yeah, and I'm an hour and a half out. So
right.
And honestly, the best description I can give you of where we live is if you've ever been to Wyoming, it's like that, but 15 times the size, but still the same population.
And colder.
And much colder.
Closer to sea level, but colder.
Yeah, there's nothing here except, well, apparently hypnotists, because there's probably more hypnotists per capita in Saskatchewan than anywhere else in the world, I'm sure.
Oh, God, that'd be an interesting stat to look up.
Well, I know
you're probably not that far off.
John, how many of us that you can? I can't count them on my two hands. There's more than that.
Well, you get to 10. I'll get to 20, and then we'll figure out where we go from there.
Yeah, and there's only 1 million people here, so yeah, it's crazy. But most of us are working too, which is kind of nice. So.
Yeah, and even at that, there's plenty of work to be had. Because
I will say this, the one thing that I don't want to say it shocked me, but it definitely surprised me was the amount of work that there was between November and, your Christmas season, I think you said didn't end really until February.
Nope. It ended, 15th of February is my last Christmas show.
So, that's...
Or holiday season.
Yeah.
When you look at that scope and then you look, like you said, the number of hypnotists that there are, plus the traveling ones that happen to swing by from Ontario and, occasionally I think we get a couple, Wayne would come from Alberta.
We get at least 4 from Alberta, Shawn, currently come out here.
Yeah.
Consistently.
So, it's not that there isn't work. It's that if you're hungry to go get it, you gotta be competitive and go get it. And I know when Grant and I were talking last week after the Hypno News Live, um, we were talking about your advertising scheme
Yeah,
and just how thorough it is.
it's had to be like if I wanted to make a career, I had to have business out there. I There was a time when I used to send 14,000 postcards every year. 14,000. Like every 3 weeks, a postcard was going out, and now it's all emails and online. It's you got to
Yeah,
do
the
the work.
times have changed, haven't they?
Yeah, yeah. Well, if I was doing that now, it would cost me almost $20,000 to mail 14,000 postcards. So
Yeah.
mail up here is a little bit more expensive than it is down there. I think we're at $1.10 or $1.15 for. I haven't bought a stamp in a long time.
Oh
Shawn,
wow.
what's a stamp worth?
Last time I bought a stamp for a manila envelope. Hang on now, let me think about this. It was 90. No, it was because I wanted it there after 3 days. It was about $5.
Yeah, it's the price of shipping has went way up here. So
Yeah.
Oh wow.
yeah,
Because I think like on a lot of that bulk stuff, you would either have the digital stuff where it just prints out the shipping like a little QR code on the envelope, and you go, all right, send it off. You
Yeah,
don't
but you
have
still
to.
got to pay for that.
hey Brian, I got a
Yeah.
question for you.
Yeah.
Are you more likely to open a marketing envelope that has a bulk printed stamp on it, or are you more likely to have a real stamp with your name printed on it, your actual name and who you
Mhm.
are? Which one are you going to open first? Which one are you going to remember?
Yeah, I
When was
definitely
the
see.
last time you got a bulk printed stamp that wasn't a bill?
No, that definitely. I get where you're going with it.
Yeah.
It's
Somebody
Sometimes the
offered me a
cost of
credit card.
I'm like it. Well, the thing is, in the States, when we send stuff out, it's hey, if I need to go down to the post office, I can just go run down there where I need to, drop it off anyway,
Yeah.
because it's not for some in different places around here. It's just kind of a general rule of thumb of just run it down the street if you need to mail it out,
Yeah.
instead of stick it in your mailbox, put the flag up, and then everybody goes, oh, there might be a check or there's something important, and all the little porch pirates want to run and grab it.
Yeah.
So it's like if I'm down there already, I just go, here's the address I'm sending it to, and they go, oh, do you want 3 or 4, however many of these, and it's
Yeah.
spits the stuff out, put the stuff right
So
on there, or
in
just a little
Canada,
sticker.
yeah, in Canada, to do bulk mailing, you have to drive to a major city. That's the only way you can actually do bulk mailing here. They have it in
Oh, that.
Saskatoon and Regina,
Mhm.
and we don't have mailboxes in our province generally. They go
Okay.
to an actual post office, and that's where we have to do all our mails. So in Saskatchewan specifically, Shawn, that's how your area is too, right? So
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, we've got a, I'm not call it the community boxes, but
yeah,
they're at the end of the block, every second block.
yeah.
And
Oh yeah. A
um,
lot of your neighborhoods are kind of getting like that.
Yeah.
well,
Where
because
it,
paper mail is, as a medium is starting to get to the point where there just isn't that much of it.
mhm.
If every company can send you a bill online through email, then what's left? Just flyers, and nobody reads the flyers anymore because the flyers are
Bulk
great
mails.
for starting fires.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's already prepaid.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
and then you get the occasional pseudo bank that wants to offer you a credit card, and you're pre-approved, even though you're not really pre-approved.
mhm.
So,
I don't know. I'm pre-approved for a lot of things, Shawn.
well,
Yeah.
it's pre-approved has its moments.
Yeah.
Um,
Are we talking hypnosis? What do you want to talk about for hypnosis? Let's do this.
Oh, yeah. So no, the you kind of have the marketing scheme. Are you at liberty to kind of at least gloss over, give us a teaser or a taste?
Sure. Here's
Or
the marketing scheme. Serve your customers, and how you do that is by teaching them things that they may not even consider. For instance, when I talk to a client on the telephone, I will say, okay, please make sure that you check and see how many years that hypnotist has been in business.
Mhm.
And if they haven't been performing for a certain amount of time, you probably shouldn't hire them for a high-end conference. And secondary to that, ask them if they have insurance and able to prove that they have insurance. And if they don't have insurance, sure as hell don't work with them because they're not a professional. And it's just educating the client like that. Other things I'm doing, if you look at my social media, everybody who watches, go check out my social media. There's a video every day, and it's automated. I just recorded like 100 of them, and they just all go out there. That's how I market. And some of them will get 1,000 views, some of them will get 2 views, but it's automated, it's done, and it's helpful. So when somebody searches that stuff, it's going to pop up. And
you're talking social media, correct?
I'm talking social media. I'm talking any marketing that I do is designed. I don't care if somebody hires me or not. I would rather have them have a good event without me than hire me, and I might not be the right fit. It's about service first.
No, I love that.
Yeah,
because it's getting the.
There's a stigma to being an entertainer. Like a lot of entertainers screwed over a lot of people for a long time, and I'm trying to get away from that type.
I used to sell home, auto, and life insurance for a period in time, and you want to talk about a stigma. It was like I'm looking up, and it's like you got the attorneys, the used car salesmen. As far as everybody was concerned, I was the one that was just trying to separate them from their wallet.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with hypnosis. Hypnosis had that stigma to it for a long, long time, whether it was religious pressures or just people doing gross things, right? Things that probably never should have been done, no matter the age or time. So things have changed, and I'm so happy about it.
Well, that's kind of where I was going with it. Is that it's great to, you definitely want to educate the clients on, all right, these are things that you want to look for, so that you don't have a video of your event, showing up on guess who got paid a big bag of money, or here's what not to do. Because in a way you're kind of protecting the profession or the industry as a whole.
Yep. And let's be honest, how many people in our industry have actively tried to protect it? I know of only a few. A lot have came into it and just tried to take, and you can make a lot of money really fast in this industry, but if you're burning bridges the whole time, it's probably not a good idea. So
no, you definitely don't want to burn bridges. And
Shawn, are you nodding your head because you know exactly who I'm talking about?
And I was also thinking about not just so much burning the bridges, but hitting the overpasses.
Oh,
apparently that's been a thing in Saskatoon. 3 of them in the last 3 weeks.
4. It's 4 now.
I know how tall those are. How big are those loads that they're bringing across Circle Drive?
I've got my truck license. I don't know why they're not measuring beforehand. Like you're supposed to measure your load.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Like
4 overpasses. So that's like $20 million worth of bridges that now need to be repaired.
The fine is $10,000 for the driver, and I believe they also are responsible for repairs. Like it's a massive fine for that.
Yeah.
And the companies.
Yeah.
Which is good, because maybe we all know how trucking is currently. It's not a good system. People get their license in a week and they're good to go. So not cool.
Or it's like if they just had a standard, thou shalt not load your stuff over X height. And if you do need one of those gigantic oversized loads, and again, I can speak to the United States, when you have a certain width and oversize and stuff that's, you're moving specialty equipment, you're going to have your survey card that goes out. You're going to have all the stuff where they go, okay, at this intersection, we're going to need a couple of fire trucks or cranes to lift up the tension wires on the lights that are just hanging there to get them out of the way, or just because there's no way to get around it, or, we need to block off, if we need to shift over and go into like opposite lanes of traffic and close the roads down. But
we just closed 2 highways to move a massive house.
Yep. They do it here all the time. They bypass the city, and there's a mine out here, so there's always mine equipment on the highway. And And our province is building right now, so there is a lot of stuff everywhere. It's crazy, actually.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm gonna go hit up some of those mines. You're like, all right, we're gonna do a hypnosis show, and see if we can get Big Moose to bark like a baby seal. Yeah,
they pay well, and the further north you fly, they pay even better. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't say that, but
you can guarantee you're not going to be. You're going to know what the temperature's like inside that building.
Yep,
and
actually,
what the weather's going to be.
The further north you go, if you get into a camp, it's just like being in a city, but sometimes it's just all under one roof. They have one big building where everybody stays. It's wonderful.
Oh yeah.
And
you probably have especially if you're the entertainment, you're like, I only have to be here for a short amount of time.
Yep.
And the guys that are up there, they go, oh, I get lonely, I get homesick.
Yep.
Oh, we got Wi-Fi. Here, let me look at my phone, punch some numbers in, be like, I just saw my bank account balance.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah,
So,
we also have northern living allowances, so there is tax breaks for people that do work in the northern latitudes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. There's that one YouTuber. What is it? AVE.
Av. Yep. AVE. Yep.
Yeah, he's hilarious. I guess he's right up in British Columbia, north of Vancouver. And I mean, that guy's a Cliff Clavin of the Great White North. I mean, he knows everything. I mean, the guy's just extremely intelligent and very well able to articulate his thoughts and sprinkle a little humor in there.
Mm-hmm.
But no, so we did miss you at PHS at 2025.
I know. I did digital, which is
all
that's all it's going to be for a while. And I'm going to be honest about it.
Sure.
I currently do not like the political climate of your country, and saying that and there's nothing wrong with it. I just don't like being told we're going to be taken over without a choice. That's
yeah. No, and I think a lot of the
and think about it.
What I see a lot of is a lot of the media out there is, and this is from my perspective, is the American media. Their job is to sell advertising.
Very much
and
so.
when you have you've also got the political donors and stuff like that are gonna try to have their influence and everything like that, and it's nice to see that we have an administration that's going to kind of push back against that. I don't think that where I struggle with folks is you've got, I think it was best explained to me by an attorney that I work with. You have the far left, you've got the far right. They're the loudest entities, but the smallest.
Mm-hmm.
Then you kind of have your parabolic bell curve where your people are going to generally be to the left or right of center. And I think the general consensus of the population is we would love people to get along. We would love everybody to win and be prosperous and, take a little bit of a, self-reliance, self-accountability, but also, reach out and have some philanthropic stuff to help your fellow man. Where it's being skewed is, the president is trying to like march his way across, and like take over these entities and everything, and these other countries. And I'm like, is there some of the stuff that he's saying that I would articulate differently? Absolutely. Yeah. And then when you just pour gasoline on that fire and blow it all out of proportion, I'm just going like, this is crap. Now, as an American, would I love to have, because I'm going to admit a fair amount of ignorance on the Canadian politics and all of the, Shawn and I have had question and answer time where I'm like, help me understand. There's some stuff going on with Alberta. Yep. When I went to sleep, they were having some conversations about doing some stuff. I don't know that it was quite like way back when Quebec was trying to secede from Canada altogether.
That would
But
have
there's
been
some,
most of the 80s and 90s.
yeah,
Yeah.
but they're kind of like, hey, we want to, we're tired of, I think a lot of Canada was tired of Trudeau. Is that a fair?
Yeah, that's a fair statement.
Okay.
A fair statement.
So as an American, like, I think when you get the politicians and all the talking heads in the media running their mouths, you create a big divide where I'm like, you know what, I love PHS. Like when we get the, you guys come down from Canada, it's like, hey, welcome to our little piece of the fun house and whatnot.
I have nothing. I have absolutely nothing against the American people. It's the governmental policy. That was the only issue I have, and it's understandable. Some Canadians, myself included, feel attacked, and this has nothing to do with hypnosis at all. So but it does because
you know what?
Politics is fucking hypnosis. Sorry for swearing, guys.
No, send it, man.
But all politics is hypnosis. Everything literally is hypnosis. My big thing with hypnosis is if you follow a single suggestion, then technically you are hypnotized. That's what hypnosis is, following a suggestion. So as everyone who's watching this sits in your chair and listens to the sound of my voice, let's move on to another topic that's not politics.
Well, no, it does have an impact on the business, right? Because how many more conferences are there now that are out there that are looking for quality speakers and people to attend, and there are people like just saying no, we're not doing it right now.
Yep.
Get back to me in a couple of years. So that's one of the reasons why PHS has the hybrid option, and we're one of the very, very few that actually do. So, if more conferences did that, I think that would be kind of interesting.
I really wish that the hybrid option was done way more often. Simply, for me personally, it's we live in the middle of nowhere, right, Shawn? Like a flight to Vegas last time cost probably 3 times what it costs anybody else to fly out of Saskatoon than to get to Vegas. And
I'm surprised you don't drive down to Regina. At least there's a direct flight.
There was, when I was in Saskatoon, there's a direct flight.
Was it really?
That was 2 years ago. But yeah.
But you're right. They're not cheap. They're not cheap.
What I was saying is that, I think you came down
2024.
2024. That was right after Jim passed, correct? Yeah. So that's when I met you for the first time, and enjoyed your company. I remember I was actually kind of watching some of the videos. That one of them was the Isha presentation.
There's been a few.
Yeah, and so where you were actually, you got your pin and you guys did all that.
Little baby.
No, I remember I'd kind of asked about that, and it was like, this is something that was really important to you and meant a lot. And all I knew is I'm Jesse from Canada. I didn't know that it was Jesse. I've been doing this for 20 something years and I've got all this world experience. So I'm just kind of like meeting everybody ground level. And what was cool is that there really wasn't a whole lot of like ego of like, oh, look, I'm Star Spangled Awesome and Mr. Wonderful and all that stuff. It was just like, yeah, I'll have it was like a Crown and Coke or something like that. And we're just chit chatting like normal guys. And that was really refreshing. I'm like, here's a down to earth person who's coming out.
Well, we're in Saskatchewan. We have to be down to earth.
Yeah.
My thing with that is so the reason I cried is when I first got in, I read a book. That was my training. And I went and I did a show. And don't get me wrong, I got better training from then, but there was not support here. Like when I first started, the guys who were around me literally told me, "You're a piece of shit. You shouldn't be doing shows."
Yeah.
But that was 20 years ago. And now some of those same guys, I book them at higher rates than they can get themselves. So,
right.
So, and it's not that I'm bragging about that. It's that if they had been nice to me to start off with, I probably wouldn't have said, screw you, I'm going to do this. So they created their own competition. But also, I guess if they had worked with me, we would have achieved so much more, so much quicker than them fighting me. I was just a 22-year-old kid that wanted to do hypnosis. So there's something for going for your dreams and fighting against the established people that are there, because they're not the be all and end all, which is why I'm so. Jack is out in Newfoundland right now and he's doing that tour. And I'm so proud of him because he's a new person and he has the balls to do it. And I watch so many old timers, guys that have been doing this for 10 years, that they don't have the balls to go book the shows. They don't have the guts to go to a bar and get the bookings. And nothing is different than when I first got in. If you make contact, you can book shows. It's just get off your butt and make bloody contact. That's all you got to do.
And that was really cool. And it was, you know, I remember we were putting the schedule together and I was like, hey, where's Jesse? Isn't he coming out this year? He's like, no, he's doing the, you know, the stand up in Canada and everything. And I was just like, oh man. And so when I was down there, a lot of people were asking about you. And so I think that's also a testimonial to, you know, your personality, your character, and how you operate. Is a lot of people were looking for you. And
thank you.
You know, you definitely were missed. And, you know, we definitely welcome you back down to join us at a conference any year in the future. So
I just want to see us all grow together. That's what I want to see. I would like for one of us. I don't give a two flying rats about who it is, but I'd like to see one of us go mainstream, because ventriloquists have done it, magicians have done it. Like there's goddamn prop comedian Carrot Top is famous. Well, where is our bloody famous hypnotist? There isn't one, and it's about time. So if I can help anybody, that is what I'm about. But no matter where they are in their journey, just start doing shows.
Now, Salish has, I know he's got dual citizenship. He goes up and back.
Yep, he was at Capital Theater last year. Yep.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to work with him or interact with him at all?
The most I've interacted with him was with PHS. Okay. Generally, I'm pretty open, but I don't reach out to people. So if somebody wants to talk
I'll throw some onus on you on that.
But no, I generally, most of my interaction is through Aisha, because I firmly believe that Aisha can change our industry if we let it change our industry. But with that, some of us have to start getting out of our way. Shawn, we're not going to go into it, but but you know exactly what I'm talking about. But we need to have strong leadership in our industry. And honestly, on the stage side, it's not there. At least with the therapy side, we've got Jason Lynette and Mike Mandel and even people like Justin Trans teaching therapy and good quality therapy. And Alex from the UK. There's great therapists out there, but there are no prominent, famous hypnotists. And on the back wall, sadly, it says Ravine. He's still the most famous hypnotist worldwide because he has a name. Yeah. At least in Canada.
But that was Dad. Dad Ravine.
Yep, Ravine. Yep.
And Peter is, I just saw the ads. He looks like he's rolling through on a Western tour here.
Yep, he's coming through Regina next month, I think.
Or something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like, I still remember those commercials, you know, when I talk marketing.
You will always remember.
Yeah. The man they call Ravine. Fun fact, as far as I know, he actually, Dad Ravine, used to get his suits at Mr. Ash in Saskatoon. So whenever he would stop at the Centennial Auditorium, which is what it was called back then, he would stop over, get 3 or 4 new suits, and be on his way again afterwards. So,
is that store still around?
Mr. Atch? Well, he was the mayor of Saskatoon for quite a while. It might have morphed into something else, but
I think it did.
Yeah,
we have 5 viewers. Does anybody have questions? We can see your comments. Can we see their comments?
Yep.
Yeah, I can see them.
I didn't need to take over.
No. It's super easy to just like jump right into conversation. Like, you know, you're chatting with friends, which is kind of what I like about, you know, the format is that we can, you know, we don't have to sit there and be like, okay, when did you get started? How long have you been doing this? And we're asking the same questions over and over. It's like, hey, with my ADD and squirrel syndrome, we can branch off on a tangent and go off into anywhere.
Yeah. It's nice to find out who a person is. It's a better format for that, because people get on and they're too corporate. I hate being pretentious. People who are pretentious piss me the F off. So
I mean, there's a time and place, it's but yeah, I mean, when we're chit-chatting about stuff, and kind of like what you said, you were like, look, I'm gonna hang out in Canada until the United States and Canada can play nice, or the politicians can stop pissing each other's Cheerios, and it's and I think that's what like just the people want. They're like, just get over your damn selves. But yeah, Becca asked, what's your favorite memory of being on stage? And I will piggyback that with besides the Isha ceremony of getting your pen.
The Paw, Manitoba. I was doing a Legion show there. There was only 7 people in the audience. I had 3 volunteers out of those 7 people. I hypnotized this guy, and at the end of the show, I call it dreams coming true, and I get them to I get them to color in a book, and it's all their proud memories of somebody being proud. The first time somebody's proud of them, then the first time they're proud of themselves, and then they move forward in time, and it's an exercise to help people to just overcome the stuff that isn't it's a motivational hypnosis portion anyway. Yeah. It's how I close the show. It's not some big fancy ta-da ending. Mm-hmm. It's I'm helping these people to achieve their dreams ending. And in the Paw, what happened is I had the gentleman there, and I'm watching him, and he starts to cry during this, which normally you would say, okay, abreaction, but I also know what I'm doing. So I understand that what's happening is he's going through an emotional thing, and he's actually seeing how proud of himself he is. And when the first one, I get him to think about someone who was proud of you in the past. And he says, after the show was done, he comes up to me and he says, Jesse, I felt my mom's hand on my shoulder. And I'm not hooey gooey in any way. I don't believe in the airy fairy stuff. I don't touch that side of hypnosis, the whole past life regressions and stuff.
But you got that lump in your throat, and you're like, shut up. We're all going to cry here in a second.
Literally. He said that she put her hand on his shoulder and said, I love you and I'm proud of you. And it made the guy just break out. Now, as men, how would we feel if never mind mom, but anybody did that for us? It makes us, because we don't get it very often, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
So immediately it's like, this guy's breaking down. But it was the transformation I saw in his confidence after that, just for the rest of the night, from how he was during the show to how he was for the rest of the night. That's my favorite all-time memory of any hypnosis that I've seen. Just letting somebody be proud of themselves and knowing that they're loved.
Well, and it's also that it's like with either you're proud of yourself or somebody's proud of you, there's an element of recognition and purpose. There's significance in either my life or my actions or my efforts versus okay, I did that, and people are like, all right, great, you adulted, congratulations. It's you'd be amazed at every now and then I see kind of like these human resources or kind of corporate leadership type videos that pop up, and it's like, if you just increase people's salary by a little bit, or if you gave them some type of meaningful recognition, not we have to go have a full-blown awards ceremony, but just a first or second line supervisor that goes, hey, you kicked ass on insert task here, you did really good job, the way that you took care of that was so helpful, it took stuff off my plate. I'm like, I remember my dad telling me, but while I was going through my divorce and child custody, he said, son, when your mom and I split up, I always paid child support like a month in advance, and took care of things and everything like that. And it was like, if she had just said, hey, you know what, I really appreciate you being there for the boys, and they split custody like as close to 50-50 as possible, because geographically we were able to do that. He goes, if she had just like said that every so often, he goes, I probably would have whipped out my checkbook and doubled her support just on the spot, instead of having to go shell that money out to an attorney to read all these court pleadings of how much I'm just this piece of garbage and the kids are failing at life under my care, and I've got to be removed from their life and everything like that. It's like, again, you've got men and women. It's kind of like the politics. It's everybody's looking for that status and that,
and it goes both ways.
That significance.
It does go both ways, but just having empathy for the person who's in front of you can go so far. Understanding that you don't understand their position, and you might not even be capable, because maybe their life is a lot different than yours. You know what I mean? So yeah, just having that understanding and helping is what's important.
I don't know what it's like to give childbirth. I've been kicked in the snargles before. I hear that's an awfully close comparable, and I can definitively say each time I never, ever, 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 ever want to repeat that again. So I cannot grasp the concept of women being like, I want to do childbirth all over again. That was so fun. But
there's chemicals that make them forget.
Oh God, that's
the way that I close my show actually is similar. I call it the gift. It's really an NLP stand up that get them to put their hands over their heart, fill their mind with their favorite color, so it doesn't matter which direction they're looking, and then anchor the feeling that they have right now that, hey, you did the show, you're the star, ultra confidence, ultra, just build them up, and then leave it as a post-hypnotic to say, anytime that you need to use this in the future, it's yours. And I've started saying no take backsies, just because, and they snicker at it. It's like, okay, you're listening.
Because you're taking everybody back to their childhood.
The thing about it is I think the reason I started doing hypnosis is because I was sick of asking for permission. I grew up on welfare with no running water, with very little, like we had an extension cord to our house. That was our power. Mm-hmm. So for where we live, I grew up super poor. Now there's people that grew up way poorer than I did, and I do not discount that. But I think the big thing is that I learned that other people helped me. So I want to help other people. And that's why I do this, is that ending that I have, if they choose to, actually do it and actually follow through. And I give them tools, obviously. The coloring book, I allow them to color any future pages that they want, something they want to achieve. They put it in there, and they'll be able to achieve that thing subconsciously. And I give them that post-hypnotic that they can do this at home too. All they have to do is lay in their bed. And I'll be honest, if the biggest thing that holds people back, I think, is giving yourself permission or getting permission from somebody else. And only you can allow yourself to do it. If people are holding you back, I'm going to swear now, everybody.
No, send it, buddy.
Just okay, I've got the 18 plus settings on.
Just fucking take a step. Just one step. And if hypnosis can help you do that, good. But if you can do it by yourself, even better. But any step forward is better than sitting there and not moving. And who cares if he fails? You only got one life. You might as well be a failure. I know I'm a failure. Join.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
What's the line? What's the line from Yellowstone? They were like, all right, so what's the plan? And the guy's like, well, the way I see it is kind of, like, F it. Mm-hmm. He's like, we just get in there fast enough and whatever. He goes, there's less time for things to go wrong. And if we're going to screw something up, we better screw something up pretty damn quick.
Yep.
And, and and even I learned a term from a friend of mine who's your career in law enforcement, and he was what's known as a field training officer. So guys that come out of the academy and they do their first, couple 3-4 months with the agency, and he says we expect the new guys to screw up. We give them opportunities to fail, and we hope that when they do, they fail forward. Meaning, okay, there was a screw up. We kind of anticipated a screw up happening. It's not catastrophic, but we have to let them make that mistake before it cements into their brain of, oh no, I, let my, mentor type down a little bit. But it also goes back to, one of the things I wanted to key on what you said is all of the people that helped you along the way. This is why you do what you do. And I can resonate with, or that resonates with me is, again, going through my divorce and child custody. There's a ton of people who, just friends, not so much that it was like a monetary thing. It was just the support. They lent their time if they helped me out with, one thing or another. It's like when I succeed, I want to share all that stuff with them. And it's kind of my way of paying it forward, or at minimum telling them, look, I did something good. I'm demonstrating that your time and efforts were not wasted. I owe that to you guys.
And yeah, it's a heavy burden, isn't it? But I don't know. It's
yeah.
I've been through the same thing. I lived on the side of the mountain through divorce for 2 years during COVID. It was shit in a truck.
Oh God.
So I understand. But here's the thing: people held me up. I held myself up, and I'm just like Shawn. Captain Picard raised me, so I have to have honor. I have to have
integrity,
and I have to use logic because of data. And if I need to, I'll fuck somebody up because of Worf. But
yeah.
but the truth is that
we call that autism.
Well, no. Above all else, the only thing we have as human beings is our honor. If we're liars, if we're cheaters, we're stealers, then we don't have honor. And my belief, I didn't grow up in a time where you could shake somebody's hand and it was guaranteed to happen. But I'll tell you right now, if you shake my hand, it's going to fucking happen. So that's part of going through that pain, though. And it's part of the reason why I help people is because I'm going to make this industry better for everybody. And I hope everybody who's watching can join me. Yep. That's the goal.
No, go ahead, Shawn.
I was going to say, and one of those ways that I know that you contribute on a kind of weekly or monthly basis is with Aisha, Isha, whichever way you want to say it. Grant's not here, so we can say Isha. Oh wait, Becca's here. Okay, Aisha. But you have one of the weekly shows in there, and you talk a lot about the business side of it, and how to take that forward, because nobody's going mainstream if they don't have the business side buttoned up. Nobody's going forward if they don't have the marketing buttoned up. It literally takes a team for somebody to go mainstream. And I mean, you can leverage AI for some of it for sure, and you can do different things and build your content roster. But if you don't pay the bills and you don't, do the taxes, the CRA has they get cranky.
Yeah, they're mad. They're mean people.
Yeah.
In every video that I see, it's not really any different. Don't talk to them. Just ask them for the letter and don't talk to them. So, and let your accountant deal with it. So,
but I don't know. Where do you guys see the business in 20 years? Do you think we find somebody that can become mainstream? Do we last long enough together as an industry now that we've started getting along, that it actually makes a difference? That we can start pushing towards things like the hypnosis castle instead of the magic castle, that we can start pushing towards being on Broadway and actually getting paid, or being back in Vegas without having to pay for a room.
I think that I've noticed so like Michael DeShalit, Grant, and myself were in a Masonic fraternal organization.
Mm-hmm.
The different chapters, worldwide fraternity thing.
Yep.
I noticed that with COVID, when that happened, and you had a lot of kids in like high school and middle school, they lost out on a couple years of very, very crucial socialization. And then you have people that have gone on to what was hey, I'm text messaging and chatting and Snapchat, also their social media type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can do everything all remotely. And then when we go out to everything, it's, hey, how do I create this, the best persona or facade online that makes me look out to be the best?
Yep.
But then they're missing out on those really crucial, hey, I'm struggling with something. And when people,
I'm gonna jump in there, because I think this year in particular, I think one of the reasons why Jesse's marketing is so effective and that it's everywhere is there will be a backlash against all the AI generated stuff.
There's a reason
people that are real
looks like this.
Yeah.
People that are real and as you said, Brian, people that I'm not perfect, but I can help you.
Yeah. Well, we've seen at least
that's going to be king.
At least in Washington State and it's kind of been, you can say, expanding or becoming more common across the United States and North America, is that people are looking for some type of collective to belong to, whether it's an organization. Yeah, whether it's an organization, a sports team, we go out and sing karaoke or whatever. And so the Freemasons and Shriners have historically been like these social groups, and it's, what can we do to go out and have fun? We can also serve the community. Build those solid friendships of, because remember when we were kids, it was like, oh shit, we ran out of something. Go run across the street and ask the neighbor, can we borrow a cup of sugar or some milk or whatever, so we don't have to run down to the grocery store at 8:00 at night. And it was always like, hey, yeah, it sounds good. How many people do we even know who our neighbors are? And I've lived in my house for 10 years. I know the dude across the corner, the guy next door, that's it. But
I think that I know what you're saying, Brian. You live in a very populous place, because I can tell you who's on this side of the block, every one of them. I can tell you everybody on that side of the block, and I know every bloody person at the grocery store all the way down. I live in a town of 2,500 people, so I understand what you mean. I think that clubs like you were saying, like the Masons, the Shriners, I think the Elks are going to make a comeback. But there was a big problem 20 years ago when I first started doing shows. The Elks was a dying club because they had and a lot of fairs too. But Shawn, you weren't around then. But Nipawin Fair and Melfort Fair both had an old guy named George. Now George was 70 years old, and he'd been booking the fair since the 60s. And he was still paying the same prices that they were paying in the 60s. And he was still booking the same damn acts that they were booking in the 60s. And the fairs never grew. And I think what's happening now is there's a new generation coming up of people younger than me. I'm 42 this year. And I think that younger generation, my kids, their generation, are going to be doing more social activities and more, whether it's good or bad, social justice stuff in the coming years than has ever been seen before. I think that there's going to be a major comeback of unions in the next 5 years, like a huge comeback of unions, because it's gotten to the point where people can't live.
Mhm.
And how do you get money from the corporate overlords? The unions are what did it the first time. They'll be the ones that have to do it the second time.
I'd be curious what the difference are in the unions in Canada and the United States. And I know that there's some of the stuff where, you know, I equate the unions kind of similar to the family law system, like all the professionals that need to help, and that they're the go-between to make all the recommendations and everything to make sure that things run smoothly. But in reality, what they do is they go and they go kick the hornet's nest, and they go, if everybody's at each other's throats, we have job security. People will continue to pay their dues, so they can go, we're going to fight the man. And then
that's fair, but there's a lot of people that don't work for unions that don't get paid enough to live.
Mm-hmm.
So
I do see both sides of the coin.
Yeah. And I don't know, Canada has very, very liberal labor laws. Like
mm-hmm.
most people in the States would be like shocked that we get 2 weeks vacation paid every year. And
like, is that mandated, or is it,
Shawn, is it federally mandated or is it provincially?
I want to say that's a federal.
Yeah.
Federal mandate, and just like paid maternity or paternity leave, parental leave, we call it.
Depending on it, like we can get up to 18 months now of maternity leave, depending on the situation. Mm-hmm. So that's 1.5 years where a mom can be with her kid. And I know you guys think we pay all these taxes, but I'm going to be honest. I make damn good money here. And I don't have to pay for healthcare. Well, I do pay for healthcare, but I pay for everybody's healthcare. So they all pay for mine. I'm okay with spending an extra $300 if I need to go get a surgery that costs $30,000. Guess what? I get the surgery. And there's a lot of miscommunication there's a lot of propaganda from both countries because
for sure, yeah.
Because a lot of corporations down there are honestly hypnotizing people and saying that they're doing things and they're not doing them, or they aren't doing things and they are doing them.
I like the term industry standard.
Yeah.
Because like there's companies that part of their compensation plan, because I think for like state and federal employment, they go, okay, this is what we have negotiated as
with the union. Yep.
Or just like, city police or, city, county, government workers, they go, okay, this is X amount of paid time off and, sick time and whatnot. But then you get out into the private sector and they go, shit, we can offer you 30 days of paid time off, plus all your paid holidays, plus all this stuff. There are, some jobs in some industries where they go, you have unlimited PTO. Yep. It's one of those, like, if you go and perform and you're crushing it, you're like, hey, I'm going to go on vacation this week. All right, great. Go do it.
Go do it.
And, but it's like, it's one of those things where, you don't, by kind of putting it out there, it's, hey, we like this, so we're not going to abuse it, because we know that they can turn around and take that away if it's going to become a problem. But you don't have to sit there and go, oh my God, I need a couple extra days here, or I need to handle something with family, and go, do I, pick and choose over, how I spend this 8 hours of off time. And if it's, hey, I can get an airline ticket for half price and I burn an extra day or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
That makes sense.
So I think it's a lot of, working together, but then again, it's, these folks are like, all the big corporate, it's the machine, damn the man. And it's like, well, it's the man who took all that risk to go build this company and, did all the work that you were not willing to do. So, now they're going to go and
do it,
able to live like you can't. So it's it's definitely both sides.
I saw that, Shawn. I can answer that. You don't want to know the answer.
Yeah, don't answer it yet. Don't answer it yet. But we are going to ask the friend or frenemy question right away. So let us know in the chat.
Yeah.
Is Jesse a friend or a frenemy? And for those of you that have a good memory, Jesse's been on the show before, so he's answered this question at least once before.
Have I?
Yeah.
I was on with when Jim was still alive. Actually, that was
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Yeah, I know, and I know that because when I was setting up the Facebook Messenger chat, it came up as Jesse, Brian, and
Jim.
yeah, and Jim, and I thought, yeah, no, I don't want to use that and accidentally scare somebody that
Yeah.
messages
Oh,
are
God.
coming from beyond.
Oh, I did I tell you how I got Michael?
Unlike Brian.
So I got Michael Brody really, really good. So when Jim passed, gave us his laptop and his iPad and everything, and we're trying to go through emails, and we actually ended up finding a couple of clients that he had shows booked out for, and you don't want to be like, yeah, the guy no call no showed because, well, he didn't make it all the way through the year last year.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were able to reach out and say, it's this one group, and Michael DeShalit was able to cover down, and so we were like, yeah. So anyway, I've got Jim's laptop, and all of his Facebook is still logged in and everything like that, and periodically I'll go in there and I'll look at some of the messages and delete the trash, and then also respond to people. And there's been a handful that I've been able to reach out and say, hey, like, hate to inform you, but so anyway, Michael Brody's on doing his thing, and he brings up Jim, or we crack a joke, and it's like, oh, that's not Jim would say. And so I happen to have the laptop open, and I'm like, oh God, copy paste, and from Jim's laptop in his Facebook account, I type in the comments, Michael, Jesus and I saw that, and he's pissed. It's the look on Michael Brody's face was like, okay, this is really weird right now. And and then he kind of sees me chuckling and laughing, and then I think I did it again for something else, and like he saw me kind of glance off screen, and he's like, I think I know how this might be happening, and my cover was blown, but it's kind of funny to.
And I don't.
It's something Jim would have done.
Oh yeah, in a heartbeat. I mean, Jim's sense of humor was exactly that. I don't think Michael was the only guy that you kind of unnerved a little bit. I think there were a couple other people in the chat that were like, "What's going on? Why is Jim in the chat?"
Yeah. And Kevin Lapine was telling me, I think at PHS this year, we were grabbing lunch or something, and it was either right before or right after we were talking with him, and we talking about social media presence and everything, and he's like, God, Jim's been gone for 13 months, and he's still got a better social media presence than I do. And we're like, we have scoured the emails and stuff far and wide. We do not know what auto stuff that he had set up through third-party things that just throw out all the posts, and we're like, eventually it's going to expire. But
yeah, well, it has, because I'm noticing a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, again, that marketing and merchandising, and I still remember Jim saying, off the cuff, I don't want to just work with people. I want to work with people who want to work with Jim Kellner.
Yeah.
So
Jason Lynette says it all the time, but rising ships float all boats, right? It's the more we work, the more we work for everybody. And, that shift in the industry from not working together to working together has, well, Shawn, it's affected your business. I know that for a fact, because 20 years ago, I wouldn't have helped book a show for you, and others in the area wouldn't have either. But you and me and Corey and what's his pickle from Regina? What the hell's his name? Horace Eye. You know who I'm talking about? What is his name?
Oh, Curtis.
Curtis, yes, but Citric James.
Yeah.
And you put Curtis
backwards.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I originally thought it was a Ukrainian name. I was like, what?
Well, he definitely got some Ukrainian tendencies. Let's put it that way. Anyway,
But like,
Well, then you said, "What's this pickle?" And I went, "Did I hear that correctly?"
yes,
yes,
it's a colloquialism. Is that how you
That's
say
right.
that word? Look at my vocabulary, Shawn. Holy crap! But
that deserves a golf clap.
But I am so happy that we work together now. And I mean,
Yeah.
there's 3 people watching. If you have questions, put them in the chat. I'll be glad to answer. And if not, friend me on Facebook too. I'm over there. That's where I actually answer questions.
So Becky's going to guess that you're a friend.
Yeah, we have no guesses coming through on TikTok, but we should at least ask the question. But before we do, I just want to circle back to what Jesse was saying there.
Yeah.
Because it has affected my business. Curtis and I have done a couple shows, 3-4 shows now together. We four-walled one here in Yorkton that was a little smaller than we had hoped for, but we still managed to get a fairly good chunk of food for the food bank. You sent me up north, and as much as I was white knuckling on the highway and hoping to make it to my destination, you were doing the same because you were going to Regina, and I think they were closing the highway when you. It just was a crap year for driving everywhere. Curtis also gave me a show that eventually I think it landed in Melville. It was supposed to be at one of the First Nations, and then they just rented out the credit union center in Melville, and things just kind of fell into place for me. That I had 3 or 4 shows. I got one from a booking agent from MCP, and again, I think that was your recommendation.
Yep, it was.
So that was
Rich.
That
right?
was in Dauphin.
Yep. The thing is, Richard Cole. I work with him all the time. If I've got a big SEO machine now, and Shawn, you probably know this already if you type in Hypnotist in Yorkton. But my SEO is now Canada wide. So I work with Richard Cole. I work with Clint Work out of Alberta. Like, there's probably 30 people that I actively am hiring shows for, and it goes into the States too. And I never would have done that if, and this has all happened in the last 2 years, that I have actively started trying because I saw the industry shift. Before that, we were very, very much on our own.
Yep, solopreneurs.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, it screwed our industry up. Having 13 guys being the only 13 people that toured the United States for 40 years really screwed up a lot of things. So, and not being let in. It's like pro wrestling used to be. Pro wrestling used to be big kayfabe, and the new guys couldn't come in because you had to be a specific look and you had to be a specific thing. Well, it's bigger and better now than it's ever been because it's been opened up to people, and it works better when people work together.
Yep.
And especially it encourages people to ask for help.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate to say make a parachute reference, but it's like, hey, can you buddy check me to make sure I'm all rigged up properly? I don't have something twisted or routed wrong or something like that. I just need that fresh set of eyes.
Yep.
And, it's like, Kevin and Salish and all those guys.
Yeah. I was on.
I bounce ideas and go, hey, does this have, here's kind of a general thought that I have. Does this have meat on the bone?
Yep.
And they'll either go, yeah, we can retweak it, or no, stay away from that, and here's why.
Mm-hmm.
And
yep.
I think it's a good kind of a safety valve or safety mechanism to have that there for people who want you to succeed. Not, hey, I'm going to let this guy just go fall flat on his face, and then when he falls, I get to go swoop in and pick it up right out from under him.
Yeah.
But
yesterday I was on Dan's podcast with Christina, the lady hypnotist, and even in her area, she's working with others as well, and it's nice to see that. And the ability for us to actually work together didn't used to exist, and I think it's taking a lot of my partner used to get a lot of questions about, hey, should I do this during a show or should I do that during a show? Because she was my sounding board. And now I have somebody who actually does shows that I can talk to, that a bunch of people actually. And it's no longer an echo chamber, which that's why I cried at when I got that pin, is because it validated 20 years of working by myself towards something. It was, holy shit, there's other people that actually care about this. Because for a long time it didn't feel like it.
And that's where it was like, you know, I recognized that. I'm like, okay, there's a reason this means so much to him, to the extent that it does.
I cried like a bitch.
But well, again, you know, you take a look at, you know, you said, you know, building something, you know, building PHS, it's expanding every year, and that's good, but it's not without, you know, without its, you know, challenges, and you know, we'll work through them, and that's what we do. But at the end of the day, it's for the betterment of the industry.
Everybody.
And yes, we might, you know, we've been called a niche within a niche, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, if the industry gets bigger and better, we get bigger and better.
I'd like to see I'd like to see 1,000 of us actually working. I highly doubt that there's over 100 people currently booking full time in North America. I highly doubt that.
Yeah.
For full time.
Now, is it? Do you find that it's easier to book in kind of the rural Canada areas, just because?
The tall grass theory is what you're getting at. It's an old circus term where there's nothing there happening. It's called tall grass. There's nothing happening, so you are the show, and you're the only show. That's what you mean, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I didn't want it to come across and be like, "Oh, you guys ain't got shit going on up there. It's super boring." It's that, you know, there's geographical separation between your metropolitan areas.
Yes.
Because I was asking Shawn, I was like, yeah, when you do an event, you know, what's kind of your radius that you're going to pull people from? And Shawn was like, oh, people come in from 2-3 hours away.
Yeah, depending.
And I was like, wow, okay.
But in a metropolitan area, if you're driving for 2 or 3 hours, you're still in a metropolitan area.
Yeah.
You know, here you're driving. You could be at my dad's place, you know, in 3 hours.
Yeah. I think so. My mentor when I first started was Jeff Ronning, and he always talked about the tall grass shows where you're going to get paid more in the middle of Montana than you are in the middle of Seattle, simply because there's nobody else there. You're also going to draw a bigger crowd because the little farming community, sure, it might only be 300 people there, but all the little
you're going to have the whole town.
Yeah. And that's part of the pricing where we are. I know that for a fact, but I also look at the US and I'm like, well, there's a 2,500 person town there, and there's 2,500 person town there, and they're everywhere. So why is nobody going after them? Why isn't somebody going middle of nowhere and just booking all these small towns? Because they're there. The closest I can say that actually does do that is Alan Sands, and Alan does a great job, but he's only one guy. We need 50 more guys doing the exact same thing at higher rates, and then that's when we see somebody actually become famous. It's just a numbers game as far as I'm concerned. And it's the same with social. The reason I'm putting out the videos is they're imperfect. I don't want an AI generated video. I don't want capybaras chasing me down the street. I don't want any of that. I want to look like I'm an actual human being and I give two shits about the local Legion. I want to care about the Elks. I want to care about the Moose Jaw Fair. I want to tell Dennis that he's an idiot sometimes, but I also know that he has in his heart that he wants the best for that fair as well. And my job is to be the neighbor for everybody, to be the guy that, sure, I'm going to get paid, and I'm going to get paid goddamn well for what I do. But at the end of that night, it's worth every penny because I put in my heart and soul into it. And I actually helped them actually achieve the event instead of just being the entertainer that, oh, here's some posters, fuck off. There are so many entertainers like that. And it just, scares the hell out of me.
I wondered if it's easier to even, sell sponsorships at some of those, outlying areas.
It is.
Because when you're like, hey, I'm going to do an event, and pretty much the entire population
Yep.
is going to be there, and if I go, hey, thanks to
Redhead
Joe's Crab
Equipment,
Shack
John
or
Deere.
whatever, the the mechanic shop or
Yep.
tire center or whatever it is, you're like, okay, I just threw out an endorsement to the entire area that you supported this show, you supported this, your company supported this, time for having fun.
Yep. And there's a benefit to that as well, because let's say you post about the local. Okay, I'll use a local Saskatchewan example. Borgo Equipment. Let's say that on my Facebook page I put thank you so much Borgo Equipment Tillage Tools, and a bunch of their employees are going to share that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're not sharing just Borgo; they're sharing me.
Yeah.
And it's that working together. It's that community that actually makes a difference. By the way, advertisement for Borgo Tillage Tool for the two people that are on here.
Well, and I remember when they started.
Yeah.
That
too. Same thing.
That company is a relative newcomer in the ag industry, and I actually had an interview. This is an aside, but I actually had an interview in Engelfeld, back in the day when it was the only Protestant school division in the province. And almost got the job. The principal wanted to actually teach the same things I did. I don't know why principals are around, but they must serve some purpose.
Bureaucracy. No, there has to be a head. The head gets the crap. That's what happens.
So Anyway, it was a great interview, and it looked like a really cool town to be in. And at some point they were looking at shutting that place down, and Borgo came in. And all of a sudden there was a couple of side industries that like Schulte came up right alongside it, and and all of a sudden
Wonders and Mitchell's, and this is all in like a 400-person town that created all this business from nothing.
Exactly, and spread it out, because I know they do manufacturing all the way up through Melfort, in that area where my dad is, and hey, like, here's a guy had a vision, went for it, created the industry, created the side industries that feed what it needs.
Yep.
And now you've got a thriving area.
Yep. That was dying. That was previously dying.
Yep.
We say it's so empty up here, but the truth is, we're the only ones in town probably for a whole month when we come. But when 300 people come to an event, it's a pretty damn good event, especially if it's for the hockey team or the Lions, or I just got one for a daycare, or whatever it is. And I think a lot of entertainers don't realize that if we serve our clients, if we give them the tools to succeed, then we're going to make a hell of a lot more money. I know what I charge is probably, it's 3 times what the regular magician in my area charges. So what's the difference? It's just service.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you're not having to make it up in volume, you're able to dedicate.
Yep.
And I had a service advisor or service manager when I worked at Lexus. He says, when you go to Holiday Inn Express or whatever, he goes, there's people, the person behind the desk, the reception desk, is also stocking the vending machines and mopping the floor and turning laundry over. But when you go into a Four Seasons, everybody is standing around waiting that as soon as you need something, they're right there. What can I do? You are my only source of focus right now, and my sole mission in life is to solve whatever issue that you have.
Yep. It's part of my website. On my forum on my website, I have a video that literally says, do you ever wonder why other entertainers don't want to talk to you? Fill out this form and I'll give you a phone call within 24 hours. And That's my first promise is I'm going to serve you. Whether you hire me or not, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going to make enough money anyway. So here's what I can do to help you. And
Mhm.
I hope I've given you some ideas to actually make your event better, whether you hire me or not.
Mhm.
Yep.
Because 3 years down the line, you know what they do? They hire me at a higher price than the original quote was. So
Yeah.
it's better to
Yep.
serve them now so they remember, right?
And if you get your in, and you're bringing value for money,
Yep.
and you go, great, by serving these people, I got 4 bookings,
Yep.
and maybe I didn't get it at the slam dunk price that I had hoped for, but I got it just underneath that, and then multiply that times 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I had a grand slam.
I get told all the time, bars will never pay your price. And I work bars quite often, and I'm not cheap. I'm blatant with my price. My base price is $3,600.
Mhm.
Now, most bars, no, they won't pay that price. But the ones that do know what they're getting. They know they're getting a promotional plan behind it. They know that I'm going to do my damn best to sell that place out. And it's the same with a daycare. They know the same thing. And it's just certain people.
Mhm.
If we don't serve people, how the hell do we expect to have a business in the future? And
Yep.
and the whole
Now, are you responsible for ticket sales when you go to a bar, or is it both of you guys where
It is
everybody's doing their best? I'm assuming some type of ticket split or something.
So I don't do ticket splits. I do straight buyouts. That's all I
Okay.
do. So what I do with bars is, yeah, that's my price. Here's the promotional plan that I have that I will implement, and I have a 21-day promo plan for every event I do, and it's everything from social media posts to poster templates, but they still have to put the posters up. They're responsible for putting it up. I will share on my social media, but they are also responsible for sharing those posts as well. Because if they don't share, let's say they're 300 miles away, how the hell am I supposed to do the local marketing? So they still have the local stuff to do.
Yeah.
But I do the majority of the digital, and then all they have to do is share it.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that maybe it's not a bulk process, like you go to a higher end hotel. I try to give the I'm everything in my business. I'm the accountant. I'm everything. So I try to give them the service that I would want from an entertainer, and because of that, I try to get into their head. For a grad, it's probably a mom and a committee of moms that have never planned an event in their life other than their daughter's birthday parties. Or I get into the Lions Club owner or operator's head, and well, they might be doing 4 or 5 events per year, but are the entertainers doing anything past sending a poster out? Probably not. What can I do to make this person's life easier? What can I actually do to make it so their event is a success? And I will bend over backwards. But the service part of it is that it is in bulk, because if I do it for one of them, I am going to do it for all of them. It becomes a template for the rest of my business's life. So
what I was meaning by bulk is that, say you were, I'm just going to pull a round number. Say you were charging $500 or $600 a show.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, well, crap, I need to get
a lot.
I need to get 6 or 8 people before I get in there and get my $3,600 a show.
Yep.
And, each show is going to have its own marketing, traveling out there, getting up, doing the show, this, that, and the other. So you're like, God, I've easily got, 4 times the work than it is to do a single show. But because I deliver that value there, I go, cool, I've got more time by default to allocate to this thing, and I can kind of simplify and slow things down rather than running around with my hair on fire at 100 miles an hour just trying to put fires out.
The secondary part of it with me charging that much is that if I'm charging that much, it sends a signal to the booker's brain saying, hey, this thing is expensive. Mm-hmm. It has a real value to it. It's not a $250 magician coming in.
Yeah.
And I need to make this money back. Otherwise, we're going to lose money. Mm-hmm. So it makes everybody kick into gear and say, hey, we're doing this thing. So, because what I charge isn't a small amount.
Yeah.
You can buy a car for what I charge, but not a good car, but you can still buy a car. So yeah.
No, so
All right.
so we've got one guess of friend.
So let us ask the question.
Okay, Shawn, go for it.
Jesse Lewis, do you order your pizza with pineapple on it or not?
There's only 3 things that belong on a pizza. It's not pineapple.
Excellent.
It's pizza sauce. It's pizza sauce. It is cheese, of course, and pepperoni. Those are the only things that ever belong on a pizza.
I can go for that.
Could I? So I order mine. I order light pizza sauce because I don't like biting into the pizza and then there's just molten whatever that just sauce comes out and just cooks the inside of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But I will add the crumbled breakfast bacon.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong on the pepperoni.
I can get it. Like I'll do a meat lovers sometimes. It'll have the sausage and the bacon and everything else on it. Mm-hmm. But for me, it goes back to when I used to drink too much and do stupid things. And the following morning, after you do those things, you get up, you go to the fridge, and there's this cold pizza, and there's almost nothing better in the morning than a shot of the hair of the dog that bit you and cold pizza.
Yeah.
Mind you, I don't drink as much anymore. So maybe that's just an anchor from a long time ago.
Pizza in the morning is still good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pizza.
It's like that.
I actually prefer it cold. I don't know. I'm weird.
No. Maybe it's a Saskatchewan thing, but
it's because when we get pizza, you used to drive 2 towns over to get the pizza, and by the time you got home, it was cold.
It was cold. Anyway,
I was going to say there's no 30 minutes or less, or it's free.
No.
Yeah, so I've got Jen here from Winnipeg in my TikTok chat, and she hasn't really said anything about the fact that we've now said it could be a Saskatchewan thing. I'm just waiting for a comment to come in, and probably is. You guys are weird over there,
Shawn's phone starts smoking. It's smoldering, but
I don't know. Shawn, you know what I did this weekend? I went out to Elkhorn Resort in Manitoba there, and I was doing my show, and I did the banjo skit just simply because we were in Manitoba because they're a bunch of rednecks. So there, yeah.
Yep. So there's football history to that skit, Brian. I'll tell you about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it comments were made. And since then, we have 2 major games throughout the season against Winnipeg. One is now known as now it's known as the Labor Day Classic, because we played them every Labor Day for the last 45 years.
They got Labor Day in the States.
Yeah, and
yeah,
I think it's
the first Monday in September.
Yeah, I was going to say that one's Labor Day and one's Memorial Day.
Yeah. The next game, so Winnipeg comes to Saskatchewan to play. Typically, we kick their ass. Next weekend, we go to Winnipeg, and it's kind of mixed. I think Saskatchewan's probably won about 30% of those games, but the atmosphere is always good at those 2 games because one of the kickers made a rude comment about Saskatchewan being a bunch of banjo picking rednecks or something along that line. So the game after the Labor Day Classic has always been known as the Banjo Bowl, and they got a pseudo trophy, and they just made some fun with the
So is it almost expected now that the kickers are like, all right, I got to go kind of talk shit about the other team?
Back in the day, there was a more direct connection. A lot of our kickers now are still trying to make sure they actually get the ball down the field.
Right.
So accurately.
Those prairie winds.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can remember a couple of kicks, and this would be going back a ways, but
or are they kicking the metric football?
no,
Just-
it wouldn't matter. I mean, it wouldn't matter who the kicker was, whether it was our guy Dave Ridgway, who is known as Robo Kicker, because he was probably one of the most deadly accurate kickers ever. But Dave Cutler from the Edmonton Eskimos, I can remember a couple of times where he booted the ball from like the 40-yard line. And remember, we've got the extra 10 yards in the middle, and that ball would sail with the wind and weave and bobble and still go through the uprights.
Oh wow!
Some long kicks. It was
I think if he doesn't hold the record, he's got to be still in the top 5 for kicks like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's you know, that's the CFL. Before we end off here, because I know
it's time.
Yeah,
your wife is probably in the background saying, "Hey."
I'm pretty sure she's watching and she's thinking we're all a bunch of freaking idiots, and that's okay because we are.
Yeah. I mean, if the shoe fits.
Yeah, that's what makes us effective. Like, you know, I still remember talking to Jim.
We still prefer the term entertainers, but
yeah. Well,
no. Here's the thing. Every entertainer, I don't give two flying shits who we are. If we are in this business and we are not singing, the rest of us are just clowns. And we need to admit that to ourselves. We are clowns, and our job is to make people smile. Get rid of the ego and be the best fucking clowns we can be.
Yeah.
That's our job.
Yep. I remember Jim talking about, you know, why am I doing this? You know, why he drives to a venue, and I remember it was one that he actually had to haul his equipment through the woods into a camp, and he said, you know, why am I still doing this? Like, why am I doing this? And I had to admit to myself there were a couple of times on the highway, why am I doing this? Kind of crept into my into my mind. It's like, no, I'm doing this because, you know, and for exactly that reason.
Because people, God said,
you know, my mom was supremely pissed at me. Like, she said, why did you keep driving? Well, because there was a show.
Yeah.
And because I have honor and it's expected of me, and I'm going to deliver what I need to deliver.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that would have stopped me was falling off the road. And Jesse,
I've already deposited the paycheck.
Well, that night on the way home from Regina, there was semis in the ditch. There was a bus in the ditch. It was stupid.
Yeah, like, and you know, in Meadow Lake, it was an inch and a half of ice on the road.
Yep.
There was a semi jackknife that actually blocked the road for about 45 minutes. A Jeep that tried to go around it and missed and hit the ditch. And I don't know, I probably passed. I know I passed at least 3 other vehicles that were already in the ditch. One of which was a semi that landed actually upright. Still pointed like it was going to North Battleford, but it was on my side of the road.
It almost got through. It almost got
through, you know. And you know, once I got there, did the show, it was absolutely stellar group of people that I had a chance to perform with, and everybody had a blast. And that to me is absolute success. That and the fact that I made it back down into civilization and better driving conditions.
Yeah.
In 20 years, I've only ever missed one show, and people find that unbelievable with the weather we have here. Like, it is amazing because Christmas season, we go every day, right?
Yep.
Like,
and I think that shocked Grant more than anything. Was, you know, oh, I'm driving with somebody and we're driving from Edmonton to Regina, and then, you know, from Regina we're going up to Prince Albert, and then we're going back down to Regina and over to Saskatoon, and we're going to do 3 shows here, and, you know, then over to this First Nation and up to Yorkton. And, you know, I think he was in Yorkton 3 times. I only saw him once.
It's funny. I drove through Yorkton 2 days ago.
Yeah. Like, why didn't you look me up, man?
Because it was 6:30 in the morning. That's why I didn't think you were.
I was up.
Yeah.
I might not have been coherent. I might not have had my first cup of coffee, but I was up.
This business has given me so much, and I want to give back to it. And whoever's watching, whether you are doing shows now or whether you just like hypnosis, and just connect with all of us. Frankly, we are better together than we are separate, by far.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And when the apocalypse comes, I'll be able to hypnotize you so you'll be calm.
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to mention that, right? No.
No.
We got time yet.
Sure we do, Shawn.
If the apocalypse comes, just make your way south. I'll lay down suppressive fire.
Actually, I own a little acreage up here. I think I could probably live indefinitely on that acreage once I get some heat into it. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Now we just need to get, the ability to have like legitimate firearm ownership. Trust me, Washington State is taking it away day by day, and I'm like, all right, one of these days Olympia is going to turn around and be downtown Ottawa during COVID. And
Brian, what do you consider a legitimate firearm? Because I'm not going to say that I own any firearms, because I do not own any firearms. But
you lost them in that tragic.
I don't own any firearms.
Tragic boating accident this coming summer. So Washington State, I think last year or so, year before.
Pause. Washington State is Oregon,
or
other side,
Vancouver. Just down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
We're Pacific Northwest.
There's two. Yeah,
of them, right? we're the last stop. We're the last stop between. Oh, so there's Washington State. So Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Just
then
south
the
of
District
Vancouver.
of Columbia.
Then there's Washington D.C., which is that's East Coast, White House, all of that stuff. So
I was very confused.
So Washington State. So we have federal firearms laws, and then the states get to kind of pick and choose how they interpret that. So you're familiar with the Ruger 1022 semi-automatic little kid's rifle.
Yeah. Just a 22 semi-automatic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Washington State, any semi-automatic rifle is considered an assault weapon and outlawed. We can own handguns, which from what I understand, Canada is like, nope. Unless you're law enforcement.
If you are gold panning, you are allowed to have a handgun. If you are hunting certain animals like grizzly bear, you are allowed to carry a handgun on you, and depending on the province that you're in. But we are allowed to have handguns, and we are allowed to have personal firearms as handguns if they are only used for target shooting. But we cannot hunt with them.
Yeah, that's the stuff that's kind of wild.
You would want to hunt with them, because if you're
if you're hunting fucking elk, like, good luck.
Yeah, and it's I think Grant was telling me that in the UK that they've got to have like a security system, and like his own wife can't have the combination to the gun safe. And I was like, if something goes bump in the night, and they were talking about like, oh, if you go hiking and you find a stick, and then or you have a flashlight in your car or something like that, and it's like, well, why do you have this? Well, a lot of things. It can light up something. I can hammer ice off my windshield or whatever. Bad guy comes in, tonk, and they're like, that third one, you're going to jail. And I'm like, but and it's just kind of wild to me, different places where they're like, why would you want a firearm? Like, because I can. The end. I'm
not saying I own any firearms, but the laws we have here would not restrict me from killing someone.
Yeah, and that's
so I shouldn't say that. Hello, everybody who's here, the three people. But if, let's say,
judicious use of deadly force.
Okay, so currently the greatest threat to my safety is not my neighbors. I'm not going to say what it is, because it would be very, very decisive. But the only reason I would need to own a firearm like that is if war broke out.
I was going to say, I'm either going to say it's your government, or a moose that catches you off guard taking the trash out.
I am not afraid of my government in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. And
Because I'm going to be honest, I shake hands with the Mounties that live in town. I'll have coffee with them. They sit and they know who I am. I'm not worried about them attacking me in any way. I know there's a military base an hour and a half from me. Guess what? I know a bunch of the mechanics there. I'm not worried about them in any way, shape, or form. I know for a fact what side they're on. And if the government told them to attack us, I know for a fact that they wouldn't attack us.
Mm-hmm.
So, because they are Canadian, and that sounds really weird in today's environment, but they care about our country.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not what I'm worried about. And as far as being robbed, no. Generally, communities in Canada are extremely safe. Generally,
well, and it's because they, I
it's
think
partially because we don't have as many guns. Partially.
Okay. I was going to say it's mainly because you've got a lot of, I'd say more values where it's like, the integrity, you work for what you have, you want to take pride in it, where, you see a lot of like the, inner city stuff. It's, for example, a friend of mine's a pilot. And so you general aviation. So you go and fly into this tiny little, municipal airport. They might have an FBO where you can go get gas and, run to the bathroom, and there might be a mechanic running around, and they'll have a courtesy car or a few. And it's like, you land here, here's your landing fee, you fill out this form, whatever, your aircraft and registration. It's kind of an honor system. Don't make us chase you.
Mm-hmm.
You have more people that value that and will treat the courtesy cars and stuff with respect. Now you go to downtown Seattle with like those little zip scooters, or the bicycles that you can rent for 30 minutes or whatever, and it's like you got kids that are riding them off of curbs, running them into fences, throwing them around because it's just disposable.
So
they're like, we don't care about it. All we care about is it served our purpose for the 20 minutes that we're running around with it, and F the next guy.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This is, why do you think people are that way? Because I can answer. Why do you think that they're in it for themselves?
I would say, and I'm going to preface this with, I hope we can stipulate that I am painting with a broad brush.
Yes, absolutely.
Is generally, and it's a number of things. I think one of them is going to be, the values that people are raised with. If it's, you're raised with doing the right things and stuff like that. I know that, at least in the United States, we have the like, as soon as the family law system came into place,
I get it.
The nuclear family fell apart and single motherhood became super incentivized. But that's another soapbox for another day.
Yeah.
But when it kind of plays into that, because you have, when you have a parent that's absent in the home and everybody's kind of in survival mode with themselves, you don't have somebody who's going to be able to, one, set the example, give the correction, the discipline, the right and the wrong, and everything like that. It's sort of like fend for yourself. Okay. And then there's a lot of the victim mentality where it's like, oh, and again, not all of it, but the stuff that I've seen is it's always like, we're oppressed. We don't have the same opportunities and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, do you have the same opportunities to do your homework and not break into people's houses and stuff like that? But again, I think it just goes back to the values of how we were raised, and, responsibilities and kind of a developmental maturity, because you see the kids, like videos of kids that are 5 and 6 years old running gigantic big ass farm tractors, they know what to do. They talk on the radio, yes ma'am, no ma'am, that type of stuff. And then you've got, you know, some like inner city kids that are like, you're not my dad. Oh, you're a teacher. Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you're right about the generalities. I will agree with you.
Yeah.
From my point of view,
mm-hmm.
like I said, I grew up on welfare. I grew up on a farm. I knew how to drive a tractor by the time I was 6.
Yeah.
I also knew how to slop the pigs. I knew how to pull a pail of water, but I was also that kid that didn't have opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I understand sometimes when there's nobody there to teach you right from wrong. Like I said, Captain Picard was my dad. Was like my moral figure growing up. Divorced, everything like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I think that what's missing is we can say, well, you shouldn't steal. But if nobody was ever there to teach them that they shouldn't steal, or if that's the only opportunity they have to eat,
yeah,
maybe it's not a matter of these are bad people. Maybe it's a matter of, oh, society fucked this person over so bad that we do need to help them. And I don't know how to change the inner cities from what they are, because I understand, like, inner cities here are bad. Saskatoon right now, we have a lot of bad things happening on the streets of Saskatoon. In the Midtown Mall, you can't even go to the bathroom because there's drug addicts overdosing in the bathrooms. But I also acknowledge that our government fucked over a major portion of our population for years, and it's happening in your country right now that you don't even see the government fucking over the people. In some ways. In some ways.
I was going to say, downtown Seattle, you have businesses that are just fleeing.
Yeah.
What used to be people would pay well over $1 million for a 600-foot or square foot, condo or apartment thing. But yeah, they got a doorman in downtown Belltown, and it's like, oh, this is great. We got all the views, and it's like an episode of Frasier, and we drink super stupidly expensive coffee and everything. But then it's like, yeah, all the people now it's just become a third world shithole.
Yeah.
You've got the zombies running around.
And the truth is, if we look at it, what's happening in worldwide right now, it's a scary thing because it's going to produce a lot of trauma. Everything that's going on worldwide is going to produce a lot of trauma. And who's going to have to deal with that? It's probably not going to be us. It's going to be our kids. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I ride my motorcycle, and if I have to go into downtown Seattle and it's anything more than, hey, I'm ripping through the Highway 99 tunnels that are, I'm passing through town at speed. If I'm stopping and going to take pictures somewhere or go visit some of the parks because they've got some pretty cool, views and things like that, I'm going to carry a gun with probably at least 2 or 3 mags. And I'm hoping that I never, ever have to use it. And it's not that, it's not that I've tried to go screw over society or I've tried to fail them. It's, look, I try to be a responsible human being, serve my country, and, there's opportunities and stuff out there. And I'd say the difference that, with how you grew up is that the reason that you're a success is because you rubbed a couple of brain cells together. You had a goal, you had a dream, and you went, okay, I'm going to be resourceful and I'm going to figure it out. And you didn't just sit there and go, poor me, F the man, everybody's the bad guy, it's all their fault, give me money.
I get that.
And
part of the reason I'm successful is because one person believed in me. That's it. That's all it took was one person to say, Jesse, you can do this.
I mean, that is as close to the modern day faith of a mustard seed that I could even imagine.
Like, literally,
you need one person in your corner to go, yes, you can.
You know, I can even tell you who it was. His name was Kurt Kowalchuk. He'll never see this video, but I used to pump pig shit for a living. What a change in life, right? But I
Yeah.
used to put pig manure into fields, and I was working on that job for 2 weeks, and I was doing a really, really bad job at 18 years old. I didn't know what I was doing. And he said, Jesse, if you can't get this in 2 weeks, you're fired. And in 2 weeks, I became the top guy on that crew.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said that, and he said, all you have to, we know you got this, but you've been making mistakes for the last 2 weeks. The reins are off. You need to grab the bull by the horns.
Mm-hmm.
And because he believed in me, guess what happened? I 2 years after that, I managed that crew.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or he was like, look, you're gonna get with this and get going.
But
I am seeing where you're saying he believed in you, when he was like, we all know you can do this. We just need you to know that you can do this.
So how do we get those people that are in that situation to believe in themselves? That's my real question. Because if we're just going to say, oh, they're pieces of shit and they never lift themselves out of poverty or out of hardship, then how are we accountable to ourselves saying we have honor if we're not able to help lift others? That's what I think about.
Yeah.
It's a difference in perspective, I guess. And I understand the violence. I understand we've got gangs here. We've got a whole bunch of stuff. There was times when I would go under reserves here, and we have 3 minutes, and I would be afraid because there would be guys in gang colors. And the truth is, I would go sit down and I would talk to them, and I was the white guy in a brown community. And guess what? We got laughing. We got using. I'll be honest. They used slurs with me, and I used slurs with them, and they were just normal human beings talking.
It's interesting how you can find common ground with the same language that other people find offensive if you're looking at it in a different context.
Yep.
When you're looking at it as like, I'm making a playful joke, and then somebody goes, I'm just looking for something to continue to be angry at the world about.
Yep. And everyone who's watching, you now have permission to go live your dreams. And if they fail, whoop-de-doo. Find a different dream, move on. Simple as that.
Fail fast and
fail forward.
So it's I mean, it's interesting to have these types of conversations. And like I said,
like to look at I would rather see optimism in some way than just say everybody's bad and that everybody won't lift themselves up, because some people have to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Everything is solvable if we put our minds and our efforts to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was
it's time to end, everybody.
except for those people that put pineapple on their pizza.
Those
sons
all right. All of that.
I love you all.
Yeah.
I love you
all of that said, we're going to wrap it up here. I know Jesse's got to go. I know I've got to go. I've got students coming in, and I've got some things I got to prep yet tonight.
Oh yeah,
for that. And Brian
I've got food in a bed that is just Jesse. I love you, man. I was doing my best to hang in there with me with you, and not just be like, all right, deuces, everybody. I got to say my piece, and I'm out. But
it's all good. And I'm glad that. Here's the truth. I'm glad we could have a discussion, because a lot of people you can't have an actual discussion with. So.
Yeah. And that's where I said, I was like, I think we can all agree that we want prosperity.
Yeah.
It's the people that want to go kick us down and, create the haves and the have-nots and a bunch of the stuff like that. It's like, no, we as a society need to, even back in the caveman days when they were fighting the dinosaurs, the strong survived. And the people who were strong, who were not strong physically, okay, great. Be strong mentally.
They weaved baskets. They picked berries. They did the healthcare.
You figure out where you can bring value to your community, and you do that, and you're going to get it back tenfold. The money's going to take care of itself.
Yes, absolutely.
So. With that, Shawn,
let's end this.
Do you want to take us out? Well, I don't want to say take us out gym style.
No, see that's what I would say. Take us out, set a course.
Okay.
But we do end off with our infamous saying of "Take care, stay well, be awesome, everybody."
Stay free, guys.
You guys.